press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello my dear students, in the previous class you will learn about the changes. Changes is nothing but the transformation of one things to the another things. We call it as a changes. See, changes is a natural phenomenon or it is a law of the nature. See, you all know that changes is the law of the nature. It is very important. Without the changes, life can't exist in this universe. See, that's why changes is very important. See, there are common examples of the changes will be there, and for example, change in the weather. See, like that, the season wise the changes will be appear. For example, summer season, winter season, autumn season and the rainy season. These are all the changes which we seen in our surrounding. And one more example is there, that one is the growth of a children. Growth and development of a children is one of the change. Without growth and the development, we can't say that it is a change. Change is taking place. See, like that in human beings also there are, when we eat the food it will digest. See, this is one of the change which we seen in our body also. And if nails will be grown and hairs will be grown means nothing but the changes which we seen in our body. See, this is how changes will be very important. See, changes are of two types. One is the natural change and another one is the artificial or the man-made change. Natural change are those change which brought about by the nature, we call it as a natural change. Example is the rainfall. See, rainfall is one of the example of a natural change. And the next one is man-made change. See, man-made change includes by means of human beings these changes will be happen. For example, the burning of the paper. See, this is one of the example of a man-made change. And say there are different types of changes will be there, reversible change and the irreversible change. The change which can be reversed or get back to the original substance, we call it as a reversible change, and those change which can't re-back to the original substance, we call it as a irreversible change. For example, the burning of a paper is an example of a irreversible change. And some changes will be beneficial and some will be harmful to us. Beneficial changes includes the ripening of the fruit is one of the example of a beneficial change. See, ripening of the fruit is very important and it is useful for us. If we eat them, it is very nutritious and it will tasty. See, next one is a harmful change. The harmful change are those change which is very dangerous for the health. Example is the spoiling of the food is one of the example of harmful change. See, this is all about the different types of change. In today's class, we will start with the another point. A change takes place if any of the following effects is seen. See, I will write here. A change formed or the a change takes place if any of the following effects is seen. We can say that the particular substance or the things will be changed. See, in this heading we will learn some more changes which we observe in our surroundings. See, this is the heading. A change takes place if any of the following effects is seen, in which first one is Change in the physical state. Change in physical state. See, by knowing these different types of changes, we can say that the particular substance or the thing will be changed. In which first one is change is the physical state. Change in physical state. For example, say consider in a beaker there is a water will be there, and if we freeze it, it will forms the another state known as water vapor state. See, consider this is the beaker in which water will be poured, and if we heat the beaker, see, if we heat the beaker, then the water will becomes the another state known as vapor state. Till then the water is formed as a liquid form. See, this is one of the example of a change in the physical state. Physical nothing but the which which is a reversible, we call it as a physical state. See, water if we heat it, it will forms the water vapor, nothing but the steam it will convert it into another state known as vapor state. And one more example is there, as I told you, ice is converted into water when we heat it. And this water is get converted into water vapor. See, this is the one of the physical state which we observe the change here. See, ice is a solid, and here water is in the form of a liquid. Solid state, liquid state, and the water vapor or the vapor. Gas state, nothing but the vapor. See, this is how the physical state will be changed. See, ice is get converted into water by means of heat, and the later water get converted into water vapor or the steam by means of heating it. And see here, ice is a solid state is converted into liquid state, and thereby liquid state is converted into gaseous state or the gas state. See, this is one of the change in the physical state. See, next we shall move on to the change in the color. Change in color. See, this is one of the change which we observe in our surrounding. See, for example, mango. Raw mango is get converted into a ripened mango. See here, in raw mango will be green in color, and the ripened mango is yellow in color, and sometimes it is a pink or red color will be there. See here, second point is the change in the color. See, when we say that the particular substance will be changed by knowing the changes in the physical state, we can say that the particular substance or the thing will be changed. And change in the color, see here in the change in the color, example is the raw mango. Raw mango is usually green in color, and later it will convert it into ripened mango, and which is nutritious and tasty also. And here color will be changed to yellow in color. We can say that by comparing these two mangoes, we can say that the changes will be appear, and this is how the change in the color is takes place. Next we shall move on to the third point, that is a change in hardness. See, change in the hardness, for example, is the fresh bread. See, fresh bread is usually smooth in nature. See, if we press the bread, we feel that it is a smooth in nature. If we toast this bread, it will become hard. See, this is how change in the hardness will be takes place. And the batter of the cake, batter of one more example, batter of cake. See, the batter of cake is usually smooth in nature. After the baking process will be start, the cake will become the hard. See, this is how change in the hardness. Nothing but the fresh bread is smooth in nature. When we toast the bread, it will form the hardness. The changes will be occur, and that's why it is a hard. And the batter of the cake is usually smooth in nature, and if we baking process will start, the cake will become hard. See, this is one of the change we seen in our surrounding also, and in our day to day life. And next one is change in the shape, change in the size. See, change in the size is nothing but the size will be growing. Example is nail, cloth, living organisms. See, these are the examples for the change in the size. See, first one is nail. See, change in the size after the growing of the nail, if we increase the size of the nail, then we trim it, and this is the increase in the change we seen in our body. See, increase the length of the nail, we can trim up, and this is how the change in the size. And also cloth. See, for example, in 3rd standard you will be wore uniform which is short in length, and now if you wear such uniform, it is very short compared to that previous or the 3rd standard. See, the length will become short, the uniform will become the short in length if we wore now. See, this is how the cloth size will be increases. And the living organisms is example of the change in the size. When we grow up, our size will be growing and the development will be takes place in our body. See, that's why the living organisms will increases the size by the growth and the development process. See, this is how the change in the size. See, as I told you, if we say that the change in the size, a particular substance will be changed, means by knowing these points we can say that the particular substance will be changed. For example, the nail, if the nail will increases its length, then we trim up, and see, this is one of the example of a change in the size. And the cloth increase, when we increases our body, our growth and development will takes place in our body, means we increases the height as well as the weight. See, that is why the living organisms will be grow and the size will be increases here. And the cloth, see, in your life you see the cloth, you wore different types of cloth which are different from the size. And see, if you wore short cloth, then the size will be more compared to in previous year, like that the cloth will be changed. And see, change in the size, this is how the change in the size will be takes place. Here nail also grow, this is one of the size, change in the size. And cloth, by increasing or by growth and development we can change the size of the cloth also. And living organisms, usually living organisms grow, day to day living organisms will grow, and this will help to say that the change is takes place in the living organisms. See, this is how the change in the size and also the change in the hardness. Fresh bread is usually smooth in nature. When we toast it, it will form the hardness, and this we call it as a change in the hardness. See, next we shall move on to the change in the position. See, change in the position, example is the hand of the clock. See, hand of the clock, how the change in the position means, see, consider a clock is there. You see that after the each intervals of the time, the hand will be move continuously. Interval of time, it will changes its position. See, consider this is the clock. See, here is the hand is there. See, after each interval of the time, 1 hour, 2 hour, like that, the position of the hand will be changes after each interval. We can say that change in the position is one of the change here. See, this is how changes will be takes place in our life, routine life, we can see that. See, this is one of the example of the change in the position. And one more example is there, football. See, football, by playing the game of the football, the ball is changes its place by moving it through the foot. See, by kicking the ball, the position of the ball will changes one place to another place. This is how the change in the position is helpful, and we can say that a particular substance will be changed according to the position also. Next we shall move on to the change in the shape. In which moon and the bud to flower. See, this is the examples of the change in the shape. See, daily when we look at the night time, we look at the moon, daily it will changes. See, month wise, day wise it will changes. See, for example, see, consider this is the full moon. See, this is the full moon. Day wise and month wise the moon will be changes its shape, and this is we call it as a change in the shape. See, for example, this is the full moon and later it will forms the half moon. And later gibbous moon will be there. It is half of the, totally half above the part will be moon appear, and later the crescent moon will be there. Nothing, crescent moon nothing but the Ardha Chandra. See, crescent moon, and after the crescent moon there is a new moon will be appear. See, this is how the change in the shape we seen in our surrounding. First full moon, later the half moon and the gibbous moon and crescent moon and the new moon will be formed. And this is we call it as a change which we seen in our surrounding, that is a change in the shape. And one more is there, that one is a bud. See, consider during the flowering stage the plant will produce the bud, and later when the bud will mature it will forms the flower. And see here we can say that the change in the shape of the flower and the substance. See, consider this is the bud of a flower. When the plant starts maturing, it will forms to flower. This is how we can say that change in the shape. Bud is converted into flower. It is a change in the shape. As I told you, moon is also a type, different types of changes will be takes place. For example, full moon is converted into gibbous moon and later half moon and crescent moon, like that new moon will be formed. These are the shape of the moon. See, this is all about the different changes which we seen in our surrounding. One by one I will tell you. Change in color, change in size. Say, change in the color. For example, as I told you, the mango, ripened mango as well as the raw mango. There is a difference will be there. If the raw mango is converted into ripened, we can see that the changes is takes place, and see the taste and the nutritious value is also changed. This is the one of the example of the change in the color. And next one is change in the size. As I told you, there is a difference in the size of the changes. Changes will be takes place, and for example nail. See, when the nail increases its length, we trim up, and this is the one of the example of the change in the size. And one more example is there, clock. Cloth is also changed its length. According to the development and the growth of the person, the size of the cloth will be changed. See, this is all. This is how the changes is takes place. And third one is change in the shape. Next, change in the position. Change in the physical state. Change in hardness. See, one I will tell you, change in the shape. As I told you, this change in the color and the change in the size, and next one is change in the shape. See, in the change in the shape, bud is converted into flower by means of a change. See, after maturing the plant, the bud is converted into flower. See, this we tell that the change in the shape. And one more example is there, moon. As I told you, moon is one of the example of a change in the shape. Starting from the moon, new moon to the gibbous moon, half moon, and later the crescent moon, and afterwards the full moon will be takes place. And this is how the continuous takes place, the changes will continuous takes place in the nature. And this is all about the change in the shape. Next one is change in the position, in which hand of the clock will be there. See, after each interval of the time, the position of the hand will be moved. And for example, if 1 hour is there, after 30 minutes it will change, the hand will be changes to 2, like that. Different types of the position of the hand will be changes after each interval of the time. See, this is all about the position in the time. Next one is the change in the physical state. Example is the ice. See, ice is get converted into water by means of heat, and water gets converted into water vapor by means of the heat. And this is how the state will be changes. Solid state will be converted into liquid state, and thereby liquid state is converted into vapor state. This is how we say that a change in the physical state. And next one is change in the hardness. See, example is the batter. Batter of a cake is usually smooth in nature. After baking process, the cake will become the hard, and this is how we can say that change in the hardness. And one more example is there, fresh bread is usually, if we press it the bread, we feel that it is a smooth in nature. If we toast the bread will become the hard, and this is how we can say that the changes will be takes place. See, these are all the different types of changes which we seen in our daily routine life. For example, change in the color, change in the size, change in the shape, change in the position, and change in the physical state, change in the hardness. These are all the different types of changes which we seen in our surrounding. Next we shall move on to the types of changes or the varieties of the changes. As I told you, types of the changes, there are two types. There are lot of different types of changes will be there. Beside this, two types of changes will be there. First one is the natural change and another one is the man-made change. Beside this, there are many more changes will be there, in which we will discuss about the changes. Natural change. See, natural changes is brought about by the nature or takes place on their own. Takes place on their own. See, natural changes are those changes which is brought about by the nature and takes place on their own. We call it as a natural change, and these changes includes examples are rainfall, earthquake, day and night. These are the examples of the natural change. These changes, in other words, change can't be controlled by the man. Can't controlled by man. We call it as a natural change. See, natural change are those change which is brought about by the nature and which are takes place on their own. We call it as a natural change. These natural change includes rainfall, earthquake and turning of the day and the night. We call it as a natural change. Earthquake is one of the natural change, and the day and night, turning of the day, alternation of day and the night is one of the example of the natural change. In other words, we call it as a, see, these can't be controlled by the man, we call it as a natural change. See, this is one of the change. Next one is man-made change. See, these are the change by means of humans only, by means of man or the humans takes place. We call it as a man-made change. Example is cooking food. Burning of paper. Cooking food, burning of the paper. Cutting of clouds. These are some examples of a man-made change and can be controlled, and these change can be controlled by man. We call it as a man-made change. See, as I told you, there are varieties of changes is present in the nature, in which natural change and the man-made change is the examples of the changes. For example, see, natural change is those change which can occur by or brought about by the nature, and here taking place on their own we call it as a natural change. By their own only these changes will be occur. For example, rainfall. Rainfall by means of nature only, it will brought about by the nature only, the rainfall fall on the ground. And earthquake, natural disasters like earthquake, flood, volcano, these are some natural disasters which taking place by using with the help of the, these are some examples of the changes which brought about by the nature. And the day, turning of the day and the night, alternation of day and the night is one of the changes, that one is a natural changes. In other words, a rainfall, earthquake and the day and night, these are the examples of a natural change. And in other words, we call it as a, it can't control by the man. See, these changes which can't control by the man, we call it as a natural change, and brought about by the nature and takes place on their own, we call it as a natural change. And another one is the man-made change. See, man-made change, by means of man only these changes will be takes place. Example of the cooking of food, we can control, in our hand is there, we can control with the, by man only we can control. And burning of the paper is one of the man-made change. See, if we don't light up the paper, then it will not burn, it is our control. And see, it can be controlled by man only, these man-made changes can be controlled by the man. And the cutting of the cloths, if we not cut the cloth, then it will not change, these change we call it as a man-made change. See, this is all about the different types of changes. See, in the, once again I will tell you, a changes has takes place if any of the following effects is seen. See, if effects will be seen, we can say that the particular substance will be changed. For example, change in the color. Change in the color is one of the change. It is one of the effect. We can say that the particular substance will be changed. By comparing the raw mango with the ripened mango, we can say that the changes will be occur in these things. And see, the green color is turning to the yellow color, we can say that the mango is ripened. And see here, change will be appear. See, this is one of the change in the color and change in the physical state. Example is the ice. Ice is get converted into water. Here the solid state is converted into liquid state, and the liquid state is get converted into the vapor state. And this is how we can say that change in the physical state is a one of the effect of a change. Next one is the change in the size. Example is the increase in the length of the nail. If the nail is increases, we trim up the nail, and this is one of the example of a size, change in the size. Next we shall move on to the next, another change is there, change in the position. See, change in the position example is the clock is there. See, after each interval of the time, the hands will be moved like that. This is one of the example of a change in the position. Next we shall move on to the change in the shape, change in the shape and the change in the hardness. See, change in the hardness in which the substance will become hard if the change is taking place. For example, the batter of a cake is very smooth in nature. After baking process will be start, the cake will become the harder one. See, this is how the change in the hardness will be takes place. And if we press the bread, we felt that it is very smooth in nature, and if we toast the bread, then it is hard. See, this is how the change in the hardness will be there. And next one is change in the shape. Change in the shape, as I told you, the bird, by giving the example of bird and the moon. See, every month the moon will be changes its shape, like full moon is get converted into half moon, gibbous moon, crescent moon, and like that new moon. See, like that these changes will be continuously taking place in our nature, and this affects, we say that the particular substance or the things is getting changed. And next one is change in the color is over, change in the size is over, change in the shape, change in the position, and change in the physical state, and the change in the hardness. This is all about the different types of changes which we seen in our surrounding. If the particular substance is possess this effect, we can say that a substance will be changed. See here, next we shall move on to the types of changes, in which natural change and the man-made change is there. Natural change are those change which is brought about by the nature and taking place by its own, we call it as a natural change. Example is the rainfall, earthquake, and the turning of all the alternation of day and the night is called as natural change. And in other words, we can say that it is controlled by the, it is can't control by the man, we call it as a natural change. See here, and man-made change, by means of human or the man only, these changes will be happen. Example is the cooking food, burning of paper and the cutting of cloth. Without these making, that is, if cooking of food is starting it starts cooking, we can also remove the flame. We can say that it can be controlled by man, we can control it. And the burning of paper, we can stop the burning of paper, it's our control. And the cutting of paper or the cutting of cloth is one of the example. See, these are the examples of the man-made change which can be controlled by the man or the humans. See, this is all about the different types of changes. In next class, we will discuss some more changes which is related to the chapter. In this chapter, we will learn about the different types of changes which we seen in our surrounding and which is takes place in our root and life. See, this is all about the different types of changes. Thank you.